Have you ever listened to a story and thought, wow, this could only happen on Reddit? Because today's stories aren't just awkward or dramatic. They're the kind that make you stop, stare at the wall, and quietly question people's life choices. These are true Reddit stories about family betrayals, relationships falling apart, and moments where one decision changes everything. Some of these people thought they were doing the right thing. Some were absolutely convinced they weren't the problem. And some probably realized way too late that they crossed a line they can't uncross. So grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into today's Reddit stories. Story 1. Wife demands husband choose between her and his older children. I'm a 43-year-old dad, and I honestly never thought I'd be writing something like this. I've been married to my wife Amanda for 6 years. We have 2 little girls together, Becca, who's 4, and Eliza, who's 2. Before that, I was married once already, and I have 2 older kids from that marriage, Liam, who's 17, and Sage, who's 15. My divorce was ugly. My ex-wife made more money, had better lawyers, and even though I fought for years, she got primary custody. For almost 8 years, I saw my older kids every other weekend and on Wednesdays. It was never enough, but it was all I was allowed. A few weeks ago, Liam and Sage sat me down and asked if they could live with us full-time. Things at their mom's house had gotten bad, especially with their stepdad. Liam had gotten into physical fights with him. Even their mom admitted it wasn't working anymore and thought it might be best if they stayed with me. I talked to Amanda about it. She wasn't thrilled, but she didn't flat out say no. What she didn't tell me, something I only realized later, is that she's always been uncomfortable around my older kids. She just kept that to herself until after we had children together. Once Liam and Sage moved in, the atmosphere in the house changed fast. Amanda started nitpicking everything they did, how they talked, how they sat, how much space they took up. It felt like she was watching them, just waiting for them to mess up so she could say, "See, I told you so." Before, when my kids would visit, Amanda used to take our girls to her parents' house. I never asked her to do that. I thought she was just being considerate, giving us time together. Now I'm realizing she just didn't want to be around them. The holidays were rough. She tried to edge Liam and Sage out of traditions they'd been part of their whole lives. The house felt tense all the time. Everyone was walking on eggshells. Then, yesterday morning, everything blew up. I was making breakfast when we heard Becca scream. She ran into the kitchen crying and yelling that Sage hit her. Amanda sprinted down the hall before I could even react. When I got to the den, Amanda was already screaming at Liam and Sage, telling them to get out of the house. Sage was crying, apologizing, trying to explain. She said she had changed the TV channel because Becca wanted to watch a show, and Becca got excited and bit her. Sage instinctively slapped her hand away. She didn't even realize what she'd done until it was over. And the thing is, Sage had a clear bite mark on her arm. I calmed down immediately. Anyone who's been around kids knows these things happen. But Amanda didn't care. She refused to listen. She said Sage was dangerous. She kept yelling while both the kids were crying, including our daughters. Sage finally said she'd leave just to calm things down. That somehow made Amanda even angrier. Liam and Sage left to stay with a friend and spent the night there. Since then, Amanda has been relentless. She's told me I need to pack their things and send them back to their mom permanently. She said she doesn't feel safe with Sage around our daughters. She even threatened to call the police. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, especially because there was a time in the past when Amanda herself slapped Becca for biting her. I pointed that out and she completely brushed it off. She took our girls to her mom's house. I told Liam and Sage to come back home. Then Amanda started texting me non-stop, saying she'd be back tomorrow and the kids better be gone. That's when I finally snapped. I told her this is my kids' home. Liam and Sage aren't going anywhere, and if she's not comfortable living with them, then she's the one who can pack up and leave. My parents came over later. They told me I wasn't wrong for standing by my kids, but they also said some things can't be taken back. And the truth is, I don't even know if I want to take it back. I hate that thought. But the way Amanda has treated my older kids these past few days, it's like she's a completely different person. Or maybe she's finally showing me who she really is. 3 days later, she sent me a list of non-negotiables for her to come back. Reading it felt unreal. She wanted me to cut Liam and Sage out of my will. She wanted to sell the house I promised my kids I'd keep until they finished school. She wanted nothing to do with them ever again. No family dinners, no vacations, no photos. She wanted veto power over any time or money I spent on them. And somehow she thought she was entitled to half of the child support their mom sends for her own retirement account. That was the moment it really hit me. This wasn't about one incident. This wasn't about safety. This was about control. I'm talking to a lawyer now, and suddenly Amanda is calling, apologizing, acting sweet again. But it's too late. You can't unsee things like this. You can't unknow what someone is willing to do to your kids. I don't know what the future looks like. I just know one thing for sure. I will never choose a partner over my children. Not ever.
Story 2. My mom chose her husband over her kids. I'm a 23-year-old woman, married, and this whole situation still makes my stomach turn. My husband and I moved in with my mom last summer. The plan was simple: help her pay bills and help take care of my 3 younger siblings. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought family meant something. One important detail: my mom had been dating this man on and off for years. She kept telling me she was done with him, completely done. I believed her. That lasted about 5 minutes after we moved in. Suddenly, she's talking to him again. Then she's seeing him every day. Then, without warning, she married him. And overnight, my mom changed. She started acting like her only responsibility in life was being his wife. She would leave straight after work to be with him. She stopped coming home on weekends. The only time my siblings saw her was in the morning when she dropped them off at school. That's it. That was their mom now. My siblings started asking when they'd see her. They missed her. Their kids, of course they did. So I texted her and said they were struggling and really wanted to spend time with her. Her response broke something in me. She told them she was too busy. Then she accused them of not appreciating her when she was around. She said all they ever did was play video games, and now suddenly they missed her. I snapped. I told her she couldn't seriously be blaming literal children for missing their mom. I told her food and a roof don't replace presence. I told her she was choosing a man who's done nothing for this family over her own kids who love her. She got defensive immediately. Said, "Oh, so I'm a bad mom now?" Then she hung up on me. I texted her again and told her the truth. One day she would regret picking a man over her children, and that day would hurt. Now she won't speak to me at all. She only contacts my siblings, and I'm left realizing something awful. She didn't change because of that man. She just finally showed me who she's always been. Story 3. I called off my wedding after his surprise. I'm 30, and until recently, I was engaged to a man I thought I was going to spend my life with. Mark is creative, spontaneous, sometimes a little too spontaneous, but I always thought it came from a good place. We had a small gathering with friends to celebrate our upcoming wedding. Mark kept hinting that he had a big surprise for me. I assumed it was jewelry, something sentimental. He pulls out a fancy box. My heart starts racing. Inside was a key, a house key. He proudly announced that he'd bought us a house, without telling me, without asking me, without involving me in any way. At first, I was shocked. Then I found out it was a fixer-upper on the outskirts of town. Major repairs, major debt, a massive life decision made entirely without me. I pulled him aside and told him how hurt I was, that this wasn't romantic, that it felt like he didn't see me as a partner. He got defensive, said I was ruining the moment, said I should be grateful and excited. That's when I realized something terrifying. If he could make a decision this big without me before we were married, what would happen after? So I did the hardest thing I've ever done. I called off the wedding. Everyone was shocked. Some people said I overreacted. But marriage isn't about surprises, it's about partnership, and this felt like the opposite of that. Story 4. I refused to support my ex-best friend. My brother made my childhood hell. He's 2 years older than me and blamed me for everything wrong in his life. He bullied me at home, at school, everywhere. Told me he wished I was dead. The only safe place I had was my best friend, Sammy, and her family. They treated me like one of their own. Then when we were 16, Sammy started dating my brother. I warned her. I begged her not to. I told her exactly who he was. She did it anyway. I walked away. I lost my best friend and her family in one move. Years later, I got a call from her dad. My brother had put Sammy in the hospital. Sammy tried calling me over and over. I ignored it. When she finally got through, she told me she needed me. I told her to go to hell. People say I'm cold, that I should understand, that she made a mistake. But I warned her, she knew, and some betrayals don't get second chances. And that's where I'll leave it for today. Stories like these always remind me that sometimes the loudest drama doesn't come from strangers, it comes from the people who are supposed to love us the most. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. If any of these stories made you angry, uncomfortable, or oddly satisfied, you're definitely not alone. Let me know in the comments which story stuck with you the most and what you would have done differently. If you enjoy true Reddit stories like these, make sure to subscribe to Reddit Echoes for more stories every week. Until next time, take care of yourself and try not to become the villain in someone else's Reddit post.